everybody. Welcome to the MDMC Facebook Live series. My name is Brianna Smith, and I'm the Executive Director of Midwest Digital Marketing Conference. And in this series, I sit down with some of our fantastic speakers to chat about the latest trends and updates in digital marketing and things you need to know, as well as get a sneak peek of their session and talk about the conference that is coming up in less than a month, which is crazy. Today, I'm really excited to have a special guest with us to talk about a very exciting topic. Today, we have Daniel Hill. Daniel partnered with Instagram to create the first official Instagram-themed Amazon Alexa Google News audio show, and then launched the Instagram Stories, which is one of the largest independent Amazon Alexa flash briefing skills, providing daily news updates and giving strategic content to daily listeners about the platform. And since its launch, Daniel has built up over 50,000 subscribers in 24 months. That's crazy. In 2020, the Instagram Stories was nominated for Flash Briefing of the Year at the Project Voice Awards. Daniel currently works as a product manager at the AARP Foundation and runs Daniel Hill Media, where he teaches small business owners how to use Instagram. And he's obsessed with figuring out what grabs people's attention and holds it, which I am too. So I'm so excited to welcome our guest. Daniel, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. That was a great intro. And actually, I really liked that video you showed too. That was excellent.
Thank you. Yes, we're really proud of that video. One of our students here at the University of Missouri St. Louis actually put together that video for us. One of my favorite things about this conference, if you guys don't know, is that it is heavily supported by the marketing students at UMSL. So they help with the social media and the video creation and email marketing and all that stuff. So it is an awesome learning tool for them as well. So one of my favorite things I always like to share. Awesome. So Daniel, can you tell people a little bit more about what you do? And I love your Alexa News flash briefings and all that. But yeah, if you could share a little bit more with our audience.
Sure. So I'm very interested in a couple of different things. Number one is how social media apps constantly change. And I think Instagram is really at the forefront of adding new features like almost as often as we change our socks. They're constantly tweaking things, moving things around. Sometimes there's a very obvious reason why they're doing something. Sometimes they say, oh, it's because of this, but then you realize the real reason is because of something else, which is really fascinating to me. And then I think there's a lot happening with how we've changed over the past 12 months of how we use social, looking to connect with different people because feeling so isolated, and also the rise of audio apps and how that's kind of changed our usage of social that comes to visual platforms when there's so much competition from audio. So all of those are really where I spend a lot of time talking about, learning about, and sharing with clients and other people.
Fantastic. So if you guys are joining us for the first time, if at any point you have any questions for myself or for Daniel, throw them in the comments. If you're watching this after we're live, also still throw them in the comments because we'll be monitoring them as well. We know everybody can't join us live every time. But any questions you guys have about what we're discussing, we'd love to jump in and answer them for you. So specifically, if you have maybe any Instagram questions or Alexa questions, today would be the day you definitely want to ask them. But I'm going to jump into some of my questions that I have.
Let's do it.
So, like you said, social networks are changing all the time. It's hard to keep up. But what is the latest Instagram news that you can share with those who are watching?
Sure. So a few things. I mean, they rolled out some new things this week, which I'm going to talk about, and some things that are coming soon. But I would say the biggest major development is the ability to go live with up to 4 people now. Before, you could only go live with yourself and one other person, which was good. But now you can go live with up to 3 people. And I think that creates, similar to what we had in Clubhouse, not exactly the same, but it creates that sort of environment where people are going to come and listen to people who are really knowledgeable about a topic speak about that. And so if you haven't gone live in a while, maybe you haven't because you didn't really feel like you had a lot to talk about or whatever, on my talk, I'm going to discuss some strategies for how to really make an impactful live and how to get content in order to do that. But When you go live, it alerts your followers, and if you go live with someone else, it also alerts their followers. So there's like a really good cross-promotional thing that happens there. So I would say going live with 4 people is one of the biggest ones. And one of the things I think is coming very soon, I can't tell you how soon, but 2 things I say are coming soon. Number 1 is going to be the ability to go film reels up to 60 seconds. Right now we're capped at 30 seconds, and TikTok you can do up to a minute. TikTok's looking at going up to 3 minutes, which is like a whole other conversation.
I didn't know that. Oh my goodness.
Well, that's the thing. It's like a full-time job to stay up on top of all of this stuff, right?
It really is.
Yeah. So with Instagram, I would say reels up to 60 seconds coming very soon. And then fundamentally, and I think this is going to have long-range impacts for social, is the ability to hide likes. Now, Instagram's talked about hiding likes for a long time, actually almost 2 years, but there's some components to that I think are really important. Number 1 is the ability for you to turn off likes on your own posts. So people who follow you can't see how many likes that you have. You could either do that globally, like across your whole account, that would be like option 1, or on each individual post, so that would be option 2. So say like I post usually things that get 1,000 likes, but I'm going to post something like a little personal, and maybe it's only going to get 100 likes. Like I kind of know that going in, so I'm going to choose to just turn that off. So that's going to be an option that Instagram likely gives you. And then the third option, and I think this is one that's going to be really a game changer for social, is to turn off seeing like counts for people that you follow, because maybe you follow somebody huge, like, basketball star, TV star, whatever, and it's intimidating. You get 50 likes on your picture and they get like 500,000. You're like, oh, why should you see that? There really is no reason. Like, it doesn't make you want to use the platform more. It just makes you compare and like, oh, how do I get more and how do I be like them? That's not really what it's about. So being able to turn off like counts on other people's posts, I think, is going to be coming in the near future. So watch for those things. I'm kind of giving you it's already out. It's available. Go play with it. This is coming very soon, and this is in a little bit more in the future. I don't know when, but I think that's how it's going to look. So it's really important to kind of stay on top of those things and figure out, so when they drop, you're like ready to use. You're ready to take advantage of those things.
Well, I mean, it definitely sounds like, for sure, it's always changing. I'm excited definitely for the 60-second reels and going live with 3 people. That's fantastic. Just kind of build on what you were saying about hiding the likes. What are your thoughts on that for brands taking advantage? Because I can kind of see both sides of that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an individual choice. Some people really rely on those like counts to know what's working. You'll still be able to see those within your own analytics. So I don't think that's going to be as big of an issue as people think. But by the same token, you want to see the amount of likes that your potential content creators or influencers or micro influencers that you might hire have. Sure, they can screenshot it and send it to you, but how do you know those aren't adjusted in Photoshop? I do think there's some complications there, but if someone decides to turn them on and off per post, like I was saying, that would potentially address that issue. So for brands, I think you have to decide from a corporate perspective, do you want to show your like counts on every post, or maybe you don't, or maybe you just want to show them sometimes and see if that has any effect on your audience? I think it comes down to experimentation in a lot of cases. Old school people who are going to really say, well, we need to show that ROI. We invested X, we should get Y. Like, they're always going to want to see those numbers front and center. But maybe if you show them in reporting, that kind of addresses it. So I think it's going to be up to each brand individually to see how they want to handle that.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I definitely, it is a huge game changer. That is what so many people measure, the success of their social media. So It'll be interesting to see. I'd love to know what you guys watching are thinking. What do you think of these updates? Are you excited? Are you hoping for different ones? Let us know, because I know it is a full-time job to keep up with all these updates.
Absolutely.
So my next question is, when should brands use each facet of Instagram? Because there's a lot of different features. And I think especially for maybe small businesses that are just kind of getting started, they're like, do I just post? Do I do stories? What do I do?
Right. I think that's a long and involved answer. I don't think you have to use every facet of Instagram just to kind of check a box that you did, but I think you really do need to be very intentional about how you use that content. And I'll give you an example. Like, if you make a video and it's less than 59 seconds, it's not going to be able to be uploaded to IGTV. 1 minute and 1 second you can upload to IGTV. So in one respect, you have to work within the constraints of the platform. But by the same token, IGTV, Reels, Stories are all designed for that portrait 1080 by 1920 size. So if you're filming for YouTube and you're like, oh, well, let's just chuck it on IGTV, it may do well, but it may not, because now we're asking people to rotate, and it's a whole other conversation there. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad, but just think about all the facets of the content. What's better is to ask yourself, how can all those things work together? How can you make it flow so that they fit in line with one another, and people understand that it's not different content on each place. It's content that flows together in a way that makes sense. That's something I'm going to talk about during my talk, but that's a really key thing to think about. Don't just post for checking the boxes, but make sure that it all is a cohesive strategy.
Love that. Yes, definitely. Thinking about how it all connects, not just posting to post. And then what is the best way to get more reach on Instagram, in your opinion?
Do you want to pay or do you not want to pay?
What?
Do you want to pay or not pay? I mean,
at
the end of the day, I think
good question. I'm sure most people are going to say they don't want to pay,
right.
But as we all know, it's a bit of a pay-to-play game. I mean, that is just the way it is. So I guess, are there any like organic tips that you kind of have?
So my presentation is geared around organic traffic. I would say that really brands do need to go into the expectation knowing that Instagram is pay to play now. Like, there's just no way around it. You want to post? Sure, it's free. You want reach? Instagram wants you to pay. They're a business. They exist to make money. And I think sometimes we are so used to when a platform comes out, we get all this great exposure and reach, and then over time it gradually, like, this isn't a new formula. This is not surprising. Facebook did this in like 2012, right? And so it's a steady decline. And, it can be frustrating for brands to look and say, well, we didn't get as much reach as we used to. And I think the answer, which I cover a lot in my talk, is to really look at what the Instagram algorithm rewards, what it wants to see. Right now, that answer is Reels, and it's going to be making as engaging of Reels as you can, not repurposing TikToks and just chucking them up, but really figuring out what does the Instagram algorithm show to more people because they want to see it. So I think it's a little bit of detective work. It's looking at it's trying and seeing. But at the end of the day, if you want guaranteed results, hey, just pay. That's going to be the answer. The way Instagram positions things.
No, it definitely is. I mean, if they both play a role, they build off of each other. I think I know some people, they just don't want to pay, but there's a lot of benefit. I mean, there's so much content out there, and sometimes it's hard to stand out. So this can really help you reach your potential audience.
Right.
All right. So specifically, we've talked a little bit about what you're going to talk about in your session, but can you tell people more about what they can expect to learn about your breakout session at MBMC 21 called Surviving Instagram Algorithm Changes to Boost Performance?
Sure. What you're going to learn is how to take advantage of the Instagram algorithm. I'm going to answer some very basic questions that people have, like what performs better, photos or videos? Why is the algorithm always changing? I'm going to talk about all of those things, and I'm going to talk about where you can get the information so that you can leverage the information to get the best results for your content. A lot of it is publicly available, and I'm going to show you where to find it and how to take advantage of that.
Fantastic. So our attendees get access to over 70 on-demand breakout sessions, in addition to the 14 live sessions. So there's a lot of content, and they get access for a year. But how do they know if this is a session that they need to add to the top of their watch list? Because it's going to be, who is this most applicable to?
I would say if you want to be on top of Instagram changes and new features, but you don't want to pay for ads all the time and you want to understand how you can maximize your time and effort, this is going to be the talk for you. If you have never really understood why IGTV exists, when you can go live, when you can have stories, when you can have feed posts, when you can DM people, like, why do all these different things exist in one app? It really doesn't make a lot of sense if you haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. Then you're going to really want to attend this talk and get the benefits from it. If you want to hear what every other social media person just repeats, don't listen to my talk. I go right to the people. I listen to the engineers from Instagram and I include their quotes. I listen to the executives from Instagram and I take clips from their podcast interviews. I put all of that in this presentation because I feel like a lot of times when you just hear the same information regurgitated over and over, is that even right? So I give it to you from the source.
So, well, I'm personally very excited to hear these quotes directly from them and how things are changing and what we should do, because it is, like we've said several times today, it's hard to just keep up with all the updates and why they're doing certain things. And I think some updates are kind of give you a preview of future things and things like that. Fantastic. And then I also wanted to see, because you get access as a speaker to all of our sessions, is there anyone live or on demand that you're really excited to see speak at this year's conference?
It just popped out of my head. There was one that I saw during the video that you showed, and I can't think of what it is now because I was thinking about my answers. I apologize.
So I think the video we showed, TikTok is actually speaking. We have a speaker from TikTok.
It was on that same slide.
The Social Dilemma.
That's it. So I really like the Social Dilemma for a lot of reasons. Number one, I could really relate to that little girl who smashed the container with the phone. Like, I could really relate to that. And then there's a clip at the end. There's a clip at the end, and I was starting to go back and watch it the other day, and I got distracted. But last week, Instagram started talking about building a platform for kids, some way to give under 13s either access to their own Instagram or something. It's unclear what they're going to be doing at this point. And there's a clip at the end of the Social Dilemma where they interview the executives who work on various social media platforms. I don't think they had anybody from Instagram there. And they ask them, would you let your kids on social? And all of them were like, no, absolutely not. And it really gave me pause. Like, okay, everyone who works in this industry would not give their kids access. Instagram is going out of their way to find a way to give kids access. Like, that's not really a great, like, are we thinking this through clearly? And I'm not on the Instagram leadership team. Nobody's asked me my opinion about it from their side of things. But I think the Social Dilemma is a really, really powerful documentary. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. And I think it's one I'm going to kind of add to my watch it every year list. Fake Famous too, if you didn't see that one, if you're watching. Fake Famous, also excellent, but really excited that you have somebody from the Social Dilemma who's going to be on the lineup.
Yeah, no, we're very excited. I think there's probably one almost everybody's very excited to see, just because it was such a powerful documentary. It really got you thinking about how you use it as a business, as a person, and how we're going to use it moving forward. So yeah, I am too. I'm very excited as well. So that is on day 2 of the live conference. So the 28th and 29th are the live conference, and then we have our workshops on the 26th and 27th. If you have not checked out the conference yet, head over to bestmarketingconference.com. You can find all the information about the schedule and the speakers. You can find Daniel's session, his description on there. And then you can also get your tickets. The live days are completely free. So you can see the Social Dilemma for free. No purchase necessary, just need to sign up. And also TikTok is free, our speaker from TikTok. And Shankar, who is a fantastic NPR host, he will be speaking as well. Head over there. But then you can also, if you want to upgrade and get access to all the on-demand sessions and the workshops, you can get your basic or premium ticket, max price $169. Not bad for 80, 90 plus sessions that you'll get access to. But I don't see any comments right now. But if at any point you guys have comments or you just want to share what you love about Instagram, make sure to throw them into the comment section here, and we'll be keeping an eye out. And don't miss Daniel's session at this year's conference, and make sure to go head over to your Amazon Alexa and subscribe to his flash briefing skills, the Instagram stories, because you're going to want to keep up on all these changes that Instagram has coming. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Daniel, for joining me today. Got Sarah, just says, great talk and can't wait for your presentation.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Daniel, so much for joining me. Awesome. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.